Hello, Nippies. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, hello. I'm Nips, a freelance artist, and today we are going to be trying out yet another tablet from our beloved XP Pen. I am so happy and honored that I get to try yet another one of their tablets, and this time it is the Artist Pro 16 Gen 2. If you want to see one of my other reviews for them, you can check the links down below or in the top right. I'll go ahead and put them there. This tablet is just so gorgeous. It just feels so nice. It is a 13.5-inch display, and here we're unboxing it. I'm showing you this is the 3-in-1 cable. We've got the booklet that it comes with, of course, all the instructions on how to use it, the warranty. It comes with the artist glove and the wipe to clean it, of course. It's got your cables here, the USB-C to USB-C for the tablet. It's got an extender, which is always so nice. I always have to, when dealing with these, if you have like a lot of cables on you and you have to like move things around, it's so nice to have an extension. And the fact that they include it is so nice. We've got one of the stars of this tablet, which is the mini control. And I just absolutely love this. I never used these other than the tour box. That was the first time I had ever tried that. Also in unison with XP Pen. If you want to check out that review, I'll put it down below as well. But it's so nice to have something that isn't the keyboard, which you can easily program and do a lot of cool things with, and just personalize it to your liking, just available to you. It is Bluetooth, so it does come with this little USB that you can attach. Use it wirelessly. Less cables, the better. You know that if you are an avid computer user, you know how annoying those cables get. And of course, we have our drawing pen, which has 2 shortcut keys on the side, and the eraser works as an eraser as well. A hole so that you can take out the nib easily, and then 2 styles of nibs, which I find really, really fun. They both feel very different. One is more plasticky, the other one feels a little more canvasy. I don't even know how to explain that. It feels a little less jarring and hard, I guess, if you could put it some way. Then of course you've got all the cable adapters, which another thing I really appreciate. As somebody who moved to Serbia a year ago from the US, all my stuff is still in American plugs. And so getting these adapters just feels so good. So that is something really nice. Here is a close-up of the keyboard shortcut control, and just listen to those sounds. Then here we have the back of the tablet. It comes with its own stand, and I love it. It's usually these tablets come with like lower stands, and even though I really appreciate the height of the stand, I have it here on the side so you can check, it's still a little too low for me. I had to use my own stand that props it up almost like a vertical monitor, which I know is not very comfortable for some people, but it really helps my posture. So all right, here on the back, we have the 2 USB connectors, brightness adjuster, and then the power button. Now, one of the things I really want to point out with this tablet is that you can pick from the 3-in-1 connector or USB-C to USB-C. The fact that you can go from one end to another end, if anybody here has used a digital tablet before, you guys know that sometimes you have those 3 cables popping out of one cable, and the USB port is like a very large, wide, flat rectangle, and it's like so clunky, and it gets like stuck everywhere, and then you have to bend it in order to fit on the tablet. You ruin the cable, and it's just such a breath of fresh air that the cables come, as you saw in the unboxing, as like a horizontal plastic part with the insertion part, the metal part, going down in like perpendicular fashion, so that way you don't mess up any cables, you don't have any like protruding annoying cables. So that was a huge plus for me, so I really like that. Here we have the program, the XP Pen program. You can have this for the tablet and the control, as you can see, the shortcut remote. And there's a lot of cool things about this. You can customize it here with all the buttons, and it'll expand them. And once you go in, you can rename. So this is the way that I set mine. So you see all the names down at the bottom. You can go ahead and customize it, and this is what comes up. Now you can literally just add all the keyboard shortcuts, like a series of stuff here, and it'll just do that. So not only can you use it for art, but you can use it for so many other things, which will be fun to program. If you play games, or if you just want to use it for your basic, like opening certain programs. And of course you have like different sets, just like the tour box, you have different sets of keys. So if you want to, okay, I have one configuration for Photoshop, I have one configuration for my video games, you can go ahead and swap between one and the other. And of course you even have the application at the top where you can just use the program and how it works for each program. And it's just so good. It feels good. You've got the import, the save for all your keyboard shortcuts. I usually just love how these programs are all laid out and how customizable everything is. And now that which if you're not an artist and you're watching this, I'm not sure art. So today we are going to be drawing Hobie Brown from Across the Spider-Verse. Now, if you haven't watched this movie, I urge you, there's nothing that I can urge you more to do than to go ahead and watch this masterpiece of a film. Not just if you're a regular viewer, which if you're not an artist and you're watching this, I'm not sure why, but welcome, I guess. But the recommendation goes for everybody, but especially more if you are an artist, because oh my god, like the composition, the color theory, the animation, the character designs, the direction, just everything is so just absolutely perfect. The music, the oh my god, I just love it so much. And I watched it quite a bit late. Um, and I'm so mad, but I'm just so happy that I finally got to watch it. And if you haven't even watched the first one, you have no idea what this movie's about. You've probably seen it online. There's no way you haven't seen it online, either fan art or people raving about it, gifs or everything. I highly recommend you watch the first one. Of course, it's called Into the Spider-Verse, and I've drawn something for that as well. The protagonist being Miles Morales, who is the Spider-Man of these movies. And one of my favorite pieces that I've ever drawn is actually from that movie. I was so excited when I first watched that movie. It was the first thing I drew when I got home, and I drew it all in one sitting. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see. But yeah, these two movies, some of my favorite artists have worked on them. And it's just so incredible. If you follow them on Twitter, Chuenje is, or G, Chuenje is one of my favorite artists, and they worked on this film, and just to see their Twitter posts of like all the drafts and sketches and everything they did is just so inspirational, aside from the movie itself. So yeah, highly recommend not just watching them, but maybe looking up some of the artists that worked on it if you want to check out their behind the scenes content and everything. So yeah, so this is one of the characters from the movie, Hobie Brown, who is Spider-Punk. And of course, if you watch the first one, I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. You know that it's basically like all the Spider-Men, just all sorts of Spider-Man from across the multiverse. And so this is just Spider-Punk, one of the many different Spider-Mans. And a lot of people told me they wanted to see a lot of the characters from this movie in my style, and I really, really wanted to draw them, but I was scared to draw some of them without reference of any sort of the movie, because I hadn't actually watched it. I had no context. I did draw Miguel O'Hara, which was just, I couldn't resist, okay? I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see. I could not resist. But Hobie Brown, I wanted to wait a little bit longer, and so finally got to watch the movie, and here we are. You'll see that I have on the side my PureRef open. I get a lot of questions about what program that is that stays on the screen where I put all my references, and that is a program called PureRef. It's just so incredible if you're an artist, or if you're just somebody that kind of works in just having references open of any kind. You can save the boards, like, you know, so you don't have to open all the references up again, and they're all stowed away and saved in this one file of references. It's so useful. I discovered this from another artist, and it has changed my life. I've used it ever since, many years, and it's just incredible. So to get into the actual drawing, Hobie is kind of a rebel. He's very punk and very like very intense in his personality, believes in, you know, the things that he believes in and the way that he carries himself. And so I think a lot of Hobie Brown is the vibe, and I think it's very important that the vibe be nailed in order for this character to be drawn properly. And so I was a little bit worried, because not only is the vibe super important, and I always get really nervous when I draw pictures where the vibe is kind of the essential part, because if it's not nailed, then it kind of just, the drawing kind of just falls flat. And not only that, but the Spider-Verse style was one I was worried about recreating, because I didn't want to draw the Spider-Verse style exactly, but I did want to at least have enough that you can tell it's like still in the same realm. And the anatomy was gonna scare me a little bit, because I just want the characters to look like themselves, and the Spider-Verse style is a very specific one, and if I translated it into my style and I went a little too far, I was scared that it just wouldn't look like him anymore. So you'll see kind of everything working around all those areas as the drawing goes on. As far as how the tablet feels, I started off using the keyboard shortcut remote quite often at the beginning. I tried to use it as much as possible. It was definitely not like the tour box. I was going to attempt to do the drawing with just the keyboard remote until I realized that it was like I literally felt strapped down. It felt like I could not draw. And so I just resorted to using it for some essential things like either flipping the camera or saving. There's a big button I have for like Control S. And eventually I just kind of decided on using it for basically strictly the essentials. So basically it was just like the Control S, and I think that was pretty much it. I think for me, it was just very, very overwhelming and something that I would have to get used to. And it wasn't like the tour box where I had everything that I wanted on the tour box. So it was just a matter of getting used to using that instead of the keyboard. Whereas this was like, I couldn't program the amount of things that I wanted into it. And I could have swapped from one to the other. You know how it has like different settings for the entire remote, where it's basically like a different remote. So I think it has like 4 of them. And I could have essentially programmed all of those to go back and forth from all of them, but I feel like that wasn't exactly how the remote was designed to be used, and it was kind of clunky when I first tried it. So I was like, this is not going to work out. And so I think I've relegated the control as more of like a side addition to the keyboard rather than the keyboard itself. And once I did that, it felt nicer. Like whether it be like, you know, like literally like saving or closing a file or opening a certain program perhaps, like that just felt so much better than relying on it exactly. And I think once, because the tour box was one of the first times I had ever used one of those, I think I had convinced myself that because that's how they're sold, I convinced myself that that's how I have to use them. And so instead of actually trying to think about how it would work best for me, I kind of get stuck in this, well, this is how I have to use it. And so I felt kind of bad that I couldn't use it in that way. And instead, once I found out that I could, you know, use it in my own way, it felt much better. It felt like, oh, this is cool. In the same way that you can, you know, use any tool in your own way and you don't have to limit yourself to how everyone else is using it. So once I did that, that felt really nice. The tablet itself, I always say this with every tablet review that I do, is that it's overwhelming. It is very overwhelming. I have used the same tablet for close to, I don't know if it's like 5 years, or the same brand, like 5 years. And so like 5+ years rather, or like 10, I don't know if we count the brand. But yeah, and swapping over is incredibly overwhelming. It's the longer you've been using something, the harder it is going to be to try something else. And especially if there's no like ease into it, right? I decided to just sit down and strap down for an entire piece. This piece took me quite a bit of hours. And so once it got more towards the end, I started feeling a little bit more comfortable with it. And of course, that's just natural. So a lot of how that felt at the beginning is never like how I want to say is never the tablet's fault. It's just a matter of like the adjustment period and how fast or slow you may adjust to a new tool. So there is that, the understandable frustration with a new thing. As far as the surface of the tablet goes, it is very matte. Like it is very, very matte. It has like no hints of like shine or anything, which is kind of nice. Like it doesn't glare, which sometimes with like screen tablets, like depending on the surface, like even with like the slighter, more matte ones, like you can kind of tell that there's like this light on it, and it's really, really annoying. Of course, any surface, like it is bound to glare unless it's like a strictly anti-glare thing. So there are some times, especially in this video, you'll see that the light just hits it at like a specific angle, and then like it's kind of like visibly covering things, but it's not so much to the point that I literally can't function. There are certain tablets that I've used that I literally cannot function. Like I have to drop all the light in the room in order to use it comfortably. So I really liked that about the tablet. Another thing, the resolution, 2560 by 1600. I'm telling you, this shit looks good. It looks so good. Sometimes, like, I had to like make the icons and everything like a little bit bigger, not because I can't see, but because I think the resolution kind of overwhelmed me. Like everything was, there was so much space and everything was so crisp. I was not used to it. I don't know if it's because what I'm using is like super old. I don't know what it is, but it felt like I was using a whole new PC. I was not used to that resolution. It looks absolutely incredible. Everything is like super crisp, and had no complaints there other than the fact that I am not used to it. This tablet has 16K pressure levels, and as far as like usage goes, after actually using it, it feels really, really good. It does have like a setting. Usually most tablets will have this. It has like a setting in the program. There you see my little kid. They were just, you know, spectating, wanting to draw. They always want to sit on my lap, so they're always kind of like wiggling in there if they can. But yeah, so most programs for the tablet will have like a pen sensitivity curve that you can basically adjust it to your liking. Like, do you want to press hard for the width, the thickness to change? Do you mind it basically changing at a very light pressure? And it felt really, really good. Like you can, it's so minute, like the differences in which you can make it change like very, very fast. Like just from one subtle, like tiny click, it'll go from like paper thin to super thick. And obviously it depends on like the level of pen control that you have, that you might want to swap this around. It also feels nice because if you're somebody that draws for long periods of time, has trouble with like your wrist and like your hand hurting or anything, either because you're pressing really heavy, then this tablet does a pretty good job of making it lighter, and that way you don't have to press as hard in order to get the thicknesses and everything that you want. So that is very nice. I am not used to that. The level of pressures that you had and like how I'm not used to that. The one that I use is very much like, it's kind of like even like across the board, and it doesn't have that level of like variety and stuff. So it did put my hand pressure and pen control to the test for sure. Now, like a lot of tablet pens, it has the keyboard shortcuts on the side, and then of course it has the eraser. Not every single tablet pen's like quote unquote eraser portion of the pen will work as an eraser. Sometimes it's just there for aesthetics, but this one does work. If you flip around the pen, it will work like an eraser. I always found these inclusions in the digital pen very charming. I never use them because it's very inconvenient to flip my pen every single time I want to erase. It's just very inconvenient, but I do like that the option is there if you're somebody that enjoys that. I usually, every single tablet that I've used, I usually will put the bottom button to erase and the top button to pen. So you can press it, move the canvas around, and then the bottom one, you just leave it pressed, erase, let go, and it's a brush. Now, I don't know if this is a fault of my own or the tablets or the drivers or anything, but I was trying, I tried so many configurations of the pen program in order to get it to erase when I pressed and to go back to the brush when I let go. And the only way I could get it to work was I would press it and it would turn into the eraser, and then I would press it again and it would go back to the brush. Or what would happen sometimes is that it would not go back to the brush unless I pressed B. So I would have to like press the button, erase, B, go brush, and then do that. The pan button area I also could not get to work because I would press it and it would like kind of like hold it, like a square would appear and it would hold it, and then I couldn't like move the whole thing. And sometimes it would rotate, which I changed because my rotation and hand tools have different keyboard settings. And so even the presets for the pan tool are not the same because you have some presets on the program, and then you can customize them yourself with the keys that you usually use, which is what I tried to do. I tried to do both of them, and I could not get it the way I wanted to. So maybe I'm just not using it properly. But I tried to get it to how I normally do it and what I'm comfortable with, and I couldn't find a way to do it. One of the things with the tip was what I always say I've noticed with the XP pen tablets is that they are pretty bouncy. My normal pen is not really that bouncy. It feels good, like they are bouncy, I think, by design, but they tend to feel, the XP pen pens tend to feel like pretty like airy. I don't know how to explain it, but they feel really nice. And one last thing I would like to mention, disclaimer, make an important note here, is the long-term usage, durability, and life of this tablet and some of the other products that I have reviewed. Some of you have been really kind to comment in my past videos, and probably this one as well, your experience with the products that I've reviewed. And I'm really grateful that you've done that because that is something that I cannot provide in my reviews. I, at most, use these products for around 48 hours. And so providing insight and experience for using them for more than, like weeks, months, years, is something that I can't provide, and some of you have that knowledge, and you guys are kind enough to share that in the comments. And so I really want to make note that my reviews are more of like a first impressions, and so I would take them more with a grain of salt. And if you're really looking for a more in-depth look at what usually the durability, which is what I can't provide you, and long-term experience, I would definitely go into the comments, those of you that have commented before and used the products that I've reviewed and have kindly spent some of your time kind of sharing your experiences. That means a lot for me and others who are interested in these products and did not find that information in my videos. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully you guys are able to enjoy this first impressions video. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the art as well. I'm sorry that I didn't talk about it as much as I wanted to, but yeah, I really appreciate it either way. The sponsors that are supporting the channel and the way that you guys support the channel as well, it really means a lot. Keeps me going, even though there's not a lot of content being uploaded, but hopefully that will change soon. I will go ahead and put all the links that I talked about in the section down below, my past reviews, and of course the links for this tablet as well. You can use my code ArtByNips5 to get 5% off in the store if you're interested in this tablet or any of their other products. You can definitely check it out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below, let me know what you guys thought about the video. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Join the Nippy family. The more, the merrier. And thank you. Hopefully, I will see you guys next video. Bye!
welcome back to our channel. For those that are new here, I'm Marvinta. I'm a creative director slash animator here at Plain is Simple, and today we are going to do something different. I'm going to give you a desk tour, and then I'm going to show you my work setup and the pen display that I'm using. So what you see here, this room, is our recording studio. This is where I record tutorials, but this isn't the place where I get things done. This isn't the place where I edit or animate. So in a while, we're gonna go to my working desk and I'm going to show you like my work area. And also, I have three pen display from Huion. So that's what I'm using. And I'm going to give a comparison of those three. So that's what we're gonna do after. So this video is sponsored by Huion, and just to give you a background, in 2021, I decided to switch my pen display to a Huion. So I bought the Canvas 16 2021 with my own money. And last year, 2022, I decided to upgrade. So I bought the Canvas Pro 16 2.5K, again with my own money. And this year, 2023, luckily, Huion noticed us and decided to send us the Canvas Pro 16 4K. So now I have three pen displays, and now I'm going to compare those. And even though this is a Huion sponsored video, what I'm about to say is entirely my own. Huion doesn't have any say on what or how this video will go about. So everything here is my opinion. So that's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna do the desk tour, and then after the Huion comparison. So if you're only here for the comparison video, you can skip directly to that part. Timestamps are in the description. This video also have video chapters, so you could skip directly to that part. So my hope with this video is first to show you a little bit about me by looking at my working desk. And also my hope for this video is if you're in the market to buy a pen display, hopefully this video will help you make an informed decision. So let's go to my working desk. Hi, welcome to my battle station. I work on a 2-monitor setup. I'm using the old Apple Thunderbolt display as my main monitor, and I'm currently using the Huion Canvas Pro 16 4K as my main drawing tablet. And it's really great to draw on the screen for frame-by-frame animation work. It has 4K resolution, so it looks really crisp. I have a monitor riser to raise the pen display, and my laptop is just below the riser. I also have a monitor riser for my main display. So the way I work is that I have files, Windows, references, browsers, Spotify, etc. on my main display, and on the Huion is where my work apps are, like Adobe Animate, After Effects, Photoshop, etc. So you might ask why I have a monitor riser for both the pen display and my main display. So let me just show you. This is without the monitor riser, and this is with monitor riser. And this would tidy things up, allowing for more space in this area. My main microphone is a Rode Video Mic NTG. When we have team meetings, I put the mic here and then connect the wire, and then I'm ready for a Zoom call. The headphones that I use is a Sony MX5. I like this because it's wireless and it has noise cancelling features. For my keyboard, I use a Logitech Mechanical Mini. I like this because it's the smallest form factor I can find for a mechanical keyboard, and I like the way it sounds. For my mouse, I use the Logitech MX Master 3. It has side-scrolling and programmable buttons. For my laptop, I use a MacBook Pro 14-inch M1 Max. It's expensive, but for my specific use case, I'd say it's worth it. I edit tutorials and recordings in 4K, I animate frame by frame, I sometimes do motion graphics in After Effects, and I need to transfer from one working place to the next. And this laptop paired with the Huion Canvas is very much capable to do those things. I collect toys, but I'm not some super collector, just some casual collector, I guess. I really enjoy the time in assembling this Gundam kits. I also have a Switch and a PS4. Here are some of my games. I've finished most of them. And here are some of my books. Here are some books that I have finished. So compared to the games I've finished, I still have a lot to read. The ratio isn't that good. What I'm striving is to play less and read more. So this is where my active books are, or active notebooks. Active in the sense that this is what I'm currently reading, and this is the notebook that I'm currently taking notes. So I would like to show you this specific notebook. So this is like my learnings notebook. So the purpose of this is, for example, I'm working on a project and I realize something about like the process or about the project itself. So for example, here I'm working on like lip sync and I realized something, so I took down like notes. So these are like my notes, realization, or things that I've learned. So this is a learning notebook. So I keep this one close. So this should be like close to my like working